Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and, let's be honest, most misunderstood figures in all of mythology, Shiva. He's famous for being a destroyer, but as we're about to see, he is the ultimate paradox.
So let me ask you, when you hear the name Shiva, what's the first word that pops into your head? For most people, it's probably destruction, right? It's a heavy, powerful label. But it's really just one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle.
And hey, you're not wrong to think that. In the Hindu trinity, Shiva is known as the destroyer. You've got Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and Shiva, who handles the demolition. Together, they represent this fundamental cycle of the entire universe. But if we stop right there, we miss the whole story. To really get Shiva, we have to look way beyond that single word. His cosmic job is so much more complex and honestly, way more beautiful than just simple destruction. So, let's get into it. To really wrap our heads around this, there's this incredible philosophy called Kashmir Shaivism. It gives us a much bigger framework. It says Shiva's role isn't just one act, but 5 distinct cosmic functions that literally shape everything we know.
They're called the Panchakrityas. And look at this, dissolution or Samhara is only one of the 5. Shiva is also responsible for creation, for maintenance, for concealing reality through illusion, and then ultimately for the grace that helps us see past it all, the whole shebang.
And this right here is the absolute key. Samhara isn't about some angry, chaotic end of the world. Think of it more like a purposeful withdrawal, a cosmic reset button. The universe folds back into its source, clearing the stage so that a new cycle of creation can begin. It's not an end, it's making room.
You know, this idea of cosmic balance is captured so perfectly in this powerful myth about Shiva and the goddess Kali. She's the embodiment of raw, primal energy, what's known as Shakti. So the story goes, there's this demon, Raktabija, who has this absolutely terrifying power. Every single drop of his blood that hits the ground sprouts a perfect clone of himself. So the only way to defeat him is for Kali to drink his blood before it can fall. But in doing that, she absorbs all his rage and becomes completely uncontrollable.
Her victory dance just spirals into this wild rampage, so powerful and so chaotic that it literally threatens to tear the fabric of the cosmos apart. The primal energy she represents is just too much for the universe to contain.
So how do you stop something like that? A force of nature gone wild? Well, Shiva doesn't fight her. He doesn't match her force with more force. Instead, he just lies down, perfectly still, on the battlefield. When Kali, in her frenzy, finally steps on his chest, the shock of realizing it's him, it shatters her rage. And just like that, the dance stops.
And this image is such a perfect illustration of a core concept. Kali represents Shakti, the dynamic, creative, sometimes messy energy that makes the universe go. Shiva, on the other hand, is pure consciousness, the still, silent, unmoving foundation on which all that energy dances. You can't have one without the other. They are 2 sides of the exact same coin.
Okay, so if Shiva's destruction isn't really about blowing up worlds and galaxies, what is he actually destroying? Well, the answer isn't out there in the cosmos, it's inside of us. The real bullseye for Shiva's destructive power is something called ahamkara. It's the Sanskrit term for the ego. You know, that voice in our head that creates the false sense of I or me, the part that gets tangled up in pride, illusion, and attachment to things.
So this is what Shiva is actually tearing down. Not worlds, but these internal prisons. The ego, our ignorance, our illusions, our unhealthy attachments, and all that karmic baggage we lug around. He's clearing the clutter from our inner world.
And what's really amazing is how this ancient idea still clicks with people today. When you ask people about Shiva's power, an overwhelming majority, we're talking 90%, see it as a force for transformation, not chaos. And that same number gets the importance of that Shiva-Shakti balance we just saw with Kali. It's not just some old story. So here's the bottom line. Shiva's destruction is actually an act of liberation. He dismantles the false self you think you are to make room for the true self you actually are. It's a purifying fire, clearing the way for real spiritual growth.
And all of this brings us right to the heart of what makes Shiva so compelling. His nature as a being who effortlessly holds what we see as total, complete opposites.
I mean, just think about it for a second. He's the ultimate ascetic, meditating alone in the mountains, totally detached. But he's also a deeply devoted husband and father. He's the absolute stillness at the center of consciousness. But he's also not a Raja, the lord of the wild, cosmic dance. He is the fearsome destroyer, and also the ultimate savior, who literally drinks poison to save the world.
But here's the thing. In Shiva's world, these aren't contradictions at all. They reveal a deeper reality, a non-dual reality, where things like creation and destruction, or stillness and movement, aren't opposites. They're just different expressions of one single unified whole.
And this isn't just dusty old philosophy. Get this, it is stunningly relevant today. An incredible 95% of people see a clear connection between Shiva's cosmic dance and the strange world of quantum physics. And that exact same number connects his symbolism, like the third eye, to modern psychology and the search for greater awareness.
Seriously, physicists have drawn parallels between Shiva's dance of creation and destruction and the way subatomic particles pop in and out of existence. And in psychology, the entire journey of therapy and self-discovery is basically a process of dismantling the ego to find your true self. That's Shiva's work, right there.
Which leaves us with one final, very personal thought. Shiva really embodies a universal truth. For something new and better to be born, something old and worn out has to go. So the real question isn't about some ancient god. The question is for you, right now. If destruction is the path to renewal, what illusion is holding you back?